Good afternoon, my lovelies. It is Tuesday already. Tuesday, January 19th. Let me check. I've been housebound for the last couple of days. Tuesday, January 18th. Oh, see, my days are all messed up. The current temperature right now is 4 degrees Celsius. This is the aftermath of the last couple of days of having heavy rainfall. I decided that I would come down to the waterfront because yesterday we did have storm surges, and the highest that the harbor got during the storm last night was around 8 p.m. at high tide, and it went up to 8.5 meters. And from what I heard, there was a little bit of, there was a bit of damage down on the boardwalk of the waterfront, so I figured we'd go and take a peek. There's a look up at 1801 Hollis Street. A lot of people still remember it as the Xerox building from way back in the 80s and the 90s when it was built. Currently is the tallest commercial building in Atlantic Canada. Let's go this way. I have a route that I have in mind. So the winter so far hasn't been the greatest for us. We've had a lot of rain. Like when we get snow, it will look glorious for the first day, and then it turns into rain. And that looks yucky. And I love winter. It's still one of my favorite seasons. But not when this happens. Look over at one of the pedways. That's what we like to call it. It's the Marriott Harbourfront Hotel. And the building here, where Baton Rouge is the old Morris's tea warehouse. So when tea came in, that's where we would get, I think it was King Cole Tea was their big seller. So this is the historic properties area of the waterfront. This is Lower Water Street. It is a one-way. There's no crosswalk where I'm at, so I'm just, winging it. And I'm not going to argue with the truck. Oh, haha. It's a one-way. Now, a few years ago, it caused quite the stir. See where that white striping is? That used to be where the logo was. It was like painted. They've always kept it up. And then when the new building owners bought it and put in the restaurant, they painted over where it said the Morris Tea Company. And right here is still, see if I can zoom in on this. So what it says is J.E. Morse & Co. Limited, established in 1870. this here has probably one of the largest concentrations of old warehouses in the city that date back to the early 1800s. I know I've been down here quite a bit when I do my live streams. A staple here at the Waterfront is the lower deck pub, and Privateer's Wharf is just above it. So I know it's been a while since I've done anything on the channel, but the weather has been impeding me. I don't like going out in rainstorms or when we do have nor'easters. There's a shot of Cow's ice cream with the hotel in the background. Now, I did see a cute little video yesterday on my Instagram feed that somebody had taken down on the waterfront. I'm not sure where on the waterfront it was. I think it was down by the naval dockyards. There were 3 otters just slipping and sliding on the wood and where the ice used to be. And it was like the most adorable thing I've ever seen. Normally we have harbor seals in the harbor, and sometimes you'll see them on the rocks or swimming around. So as you can see, it is a bit of a gloomy day. Shot of the McDonald Bridge off in the distance. And Purdy's Wharf. Today was not a day for sneakers, and it's not a day for winter boots. So I think for my shoes today, I will show you. Ooh. You see the reflection of the hotel in the window. Ducky boots. So I pulled those out today for my walk, just because I know I'm not going to slip and slide. I'm just getting this position back up again. Something smells good. It is just past lunch hour here in the city. There's a shot where we came down. So a lot of these old warehouses have been restored. So, looking down on here, you can kind of see some debris. Not a whole lot. I think they were pretty good at cleaning it or letting the wind take it. Now, I couldn't walk through here because they do have it fenced off. That's where Salty's restaurant is. It's a staple on the waterfront. But Pickford and Black, they don't use the whole dock, so we'll do that. And yes, there is one of our cute little ferry boat that just came in. I smell French fries. That's what I'm smelling. A little bit of snow and slush here. No fear, I got my ducky boots on. Just to show you the terrain I'm going to be walking on. So hopefully when you do see this video, it will be Wednesday, and I will be on my first day of training with the new job. Woohoo! So, pretty excited about that. I wanted to come out and do a lot more when I found out that I got my job. I found that out on my birthday, so that was a really good birthday present. So this is the Viola Desmond ferry. Viola Desmond was a civil rights activist from Nova Scotia. She is currently on the $10 bill. I don't like saying that she was the Rosa Parks of Canada because she predates Rosa Parks from her incident at a New Glasgow movie theater. I do believe it was in 1947. Slush, slush. So we're just going past the ferry terminal. So we had winds. Oh, I'm just adjusting my bag. We had winds yesterday going between 80 and 100 kilometers an hour. And we got up to about 40 millimeters of rain. So, life on the ocean, huh? So there were possible storm surges that were going to be happening. Whereas mostly inland, where my parents are living, they get more snow than the city does. I think the last time I was in this area was down, it was on a live stream. Some of the decorative posts that they have, and it shows you different areas of where ships and steamers, when they did their transatlantic crossings. So we're coming into the inner courtyard between the Queen's Mark condos and the Muir Hotel. So there will be restaurants and probably some high-end shops that are going to be here, because it is the waterfront, and this is all new. This will not be cheap to live. I don't think these statues were here before. They only are like one-sided. And yeah, it's kind of flat on this side. But it doesn't tell you who that is. Now this one here, I don't know if that's a cape. Oops, I went too high. If that's a cape or if it's wings, but it could be Isis. But I could be wrong. And maybe this one here could be Joan of Arc, because she does have the thing on her head that looks like chainmail, but nothing is labeled, so I could be way off. There's me in my winter coat. So I'm not too sure who the statues are. If they're goddesses or women of note. So there is a high-end restaurant here called Drift. And right behind me is what's going to be the Peacock Wine Bar. It says coming soon. So there are businesses that are going to be coming in to this area. And another little bar called the Bar Sophia. Now I just went up some steps. This is more of a seating area. So I'm going to backtrack because I want to show you something really cool. I did it on my live stream at night when it's lit up. So we're going to see what it looks like daytime. So this area is probably one of the last parts that's still under construction. It is going to be a bit of a look-off. Let's take a peeky poo. It's the word of the day. So you can see it, like how it's going to have some gentle slow steps going up, and it will be like a look-off point when it's completed. And down underneath, I do believe, is going to be probably another restaurant or a bar. So that's the only thing that's... I gotta fix my bag again. My purse. I can just imagine what this looked like yesterday. So these are steps that go down into the harbor. Now we're not at high tide because that's not till later. And last night too was the full moon, so of course the tide was going to be a lot higher because of the full moon. Not that we could see the moon, because hey, ooh, these are like pretty high steps. I'm not going to go down too far. Whoop. Because arthritis in my knees are screaming at me right now. Oh, screw it. Let's go down one more. So what is under the water is probably about 3 steps or 4 steps? 3 steps. 3 steps are submerged. So we don't get very many waves in the harbor that much. Yesterday we did because of the high winds. There were white caps that I could see. Lights were flickering. So I can see this place in the summer going to be crowded with people probably sitting and relaxing and just listening to the water. It does have a calming effect. Let's see if I can... So that's the area that we were moments ago. But these steps are probably the rise on them. Not quite a foot. Ooh, that was a big one. Yeah, that's what she said. Oops. Naughty, naughty. And this is all granite. Yay, I did it. So this is where the Bar Sophia will be. We will go down there just in a moment. This spot here, it is roped off for safety, obviously, but this is where you could easily put a gangway. Whoop, my microphone just hit the rope to get down onto the boats. So that is the steps that we were just on. I was 2 steps above the water. Pause that. That might be my thumbnail. We shall see. All right, let's keep on motoring. I didn't realize I'm already at 25 minutes. And we didn't even get to the area yet of where the damage was. Now this sculpture here at nighttime is lit up, and it is the Blue Nose 2, the schooner that is made famous for being on our dime, but it was also built down in Lunenburg. It is the Blue Nose 2, and right now she is in dry dock, the last I heard, in Lunenburg for winter maintenance. That was not me. That was the boat. I walk past the boat and it makes a rude noise. So we're just going past the whole Maritime Museum of the Atlantic part of the boardwalk. I'd like to get in there sometime and do a video inside the museum. The museum does have the largest display of authentic Titanic wreckage. There are parts of the Titanic that did wash up on the shores of Newfoundland and Nova Scotia, and it's housed in the museum. There's the staple, another staple of the waterfront, the giant wave, or Smurf tongue, whatever. It is a wave. The water coming up against the rocks. So look over at the salt yard. It is an outdoor food court area on the waterfront. I won't be going in there because there's some music playing. So if you look closely, you can see debris from yesterday. I tried to zoom in and it wanted to zoom out. It's not a windy day, but yet the harbor seems to be alive. And you can see that the gangways are all been put up onto the onto the dock because of yesterday. Would want those flying around. So this whole area here is newly constructed over the summer. Not sure why there are some ripply waves in the harbor. There's not really any wakes from boats. The ferry boat is quite a ways down. There are days where I do come down without my camera just to come down to the waterfront. Just to clear my head. The past little while there, my mental health hasn't been the greatest, so sometimes just coming down without having the camera and the pressure of making a video for YouTube, it's just nice just to sit and listen to the water, sometimes the seagulls. So my recommendation is, if you're having one of those types of days and the weather is okay, go down to your nearest waterfront, whether it be on a river, a lake, the ocean. Just sit and chill out. I don't know, it just... See, down here I can smell the salt air. So it's very soothing. There are still some little things left over from the Evergreen Festival. This little spot up here with these white, I don't know what you'd call them. They probably have like sand in them, or we used to have them like look like bales of straw. I don't know what's in them. This is left over from the Evergreen Festival, where they had a maze for the little ones. But as you can see, there has been, oh, wrong way. You can see a lot of it has toppled over from the winds yesterday. But this was like a little maze for the kiddies during the Evergreen Festival. Oh, why is my gimbal moving on its own? It has a brain of its own. Probably, because the wind kicked up. So this area here is the salt yard. And you can hear a little bit of music. And yes, that is a dolphin sculpture. And there is a lone thing from the maze. And I don't know if you can see him, but there's a ducky. I think when the water from the harbor comes through these narrow channels, that's what's causing some waves. I have a tote bag on my shoulder, so I have to keep adjusting it because it's my shopping bag, because I am going shopping at Loblaws after this walk. Yeah, the little breeze is like picking up on everything. There's a look up to Salter Street where Barrington is. And the Bell Alliant building. And the apartment building of my dreams, the Alexander. I think they're just tossing rocks into the water. Now this is new that I'm noticing, because they don't have it anywhere else along the waterfront, is this fencing. Just because, and they have it on this side as well. So that's all new for this year. The kids are having fun. I swear the water knows when I'm putting the camera on it, because then it doesn't want to give me like the glorious like whoosh. But when I'm like pointing the other way, that's the Woodside Ferry. They did pull the ferries out of the harbor last night around 7 o'clock, I believe, because of the waves and the surge and everything. And nobody was really on them because nobody really wanted to come out. Can you blame them? Oh, looks like we lost a hammock. So what they did with the hammocks during the winter time because of storms. Oh, camera. See, I'm so out of practice. Oh, didn't mean to snort in your ear. Okay, what they do, they have a chain, so they are chained down to the pier, so they don't get all crazy in the wind blowing. Oh yeah, I am so out of practice using my equipment. Oops. Oh, I don't think I'll be making it to the drunken headlight or street lamps, just because I'm seeing a work truck down that area. So that could have been where the damage was, and they could be repairing it. This is a recreation of a Maud Lewis print. Maud Lewis was an artist who did folk art down in Digby, or Digby County, because she was just outside of Digby. And they did make a movie a few years ago with Ethan Hawke and Sally Hawkins. She was the girl that was in that one they filmed in Toronto, and she fell in love with a sea monster. What was that called? The Shape of Water? Something like that. I don't know. It was a weird movie. But she was in it. She played Maud Lewis, and Ethan Hawke played her abusive husband. Go past some sugar. It's closed for the season. And the same with the Rum Runners, which is a rum cake bakery. Yeah, there is a truck over by the drunken street lamps. So we can admire them from afar. And see smoke. Minor damage to their open fire pits that they have. But they're also clearing away their Christmas decor.
Yeah.
There's a crane with a great big concrete slab. Looks like it could be a wall. Yeah, they're over there doing repair work on the pier, so I'm not going over by the drunken street lamps. Sorry to disappoint you. You can see some of the water from the surge. Yeah. So we're just going past the bicycle thief. So this is going to be called the Canard. Canard, not Cunard. So if there's any Brits watching, Canard. He was born here, he was raised here. And that's how it's pronounced. It's an artist's rendition of what it's going to look like. Looks a little on the fancy schmancy side. At one point back, probably up until the early 80s, these were all like oil drums and things like that, like what we have over in Dartmouth that belonged to Canard. Back then, from the stories and from what I remember, this waterfront was sketch. It was very industrial. It was a working harbor, a working waterfront from this area. And then things shifted. And it was in the 80s that they started to develop down here on the waterfront. And it is constantly evolving. Here is the headquarters for Emera and Nova Scotia Power. There's also a substation in there as well. And it used to be the former home of the Nova Scotia light and power electric trolley cars that the city used to have. And how do I know that? Because when I had an ex who used to work for Nova Scotia Power, he was an engineer, an electrical engineer, and this was his project. And his office was down in the room, it was almost like a roundhouse, down underground where the trolley cars used to be, and the tracks were still there. I remember he took photos and told me all about it. And looking across the harbor, there is George's Island. I did a Patreon video this summer with Kiddo. There is a Fort Charlotte, that is there, that has underground tunnels. See the lighthouse, and just up above from there, there's a white structure which was the lighthouse keeper's home, and the brick building that is just down from it was an officer's. The main officer of the island of the fort was his residence. So at this gateway up here, this is where the Halifax Waterfront ends and the Halifax Seaport begins. And the seaport is working. It's home to the South End container terminals, P&H Milling, that get their grains from the granary. And it is all owned and taken care of by the Port of Halifax. So this building here is the headquarters for the Port of Halifax. They are the people that work as part of the federal government, and they know exactly of every seafaring vessel in the harbor, whether it be the transit ferries to container ships, cruise ships when we do get those, and even your pleasure craft, sailboats, and everything. Also down here is where the Westin Nova Scotian Hotel is. The back part of the hotel, as well as the Seaport, Farmers Market, the Kennard Centre, Garrison Brewing, East Coast Lifestyle. So I think what I'm going to do is probably end my video here. I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching. If you haven't yet subscribed, please hit that bell down below that says subscribe. Get the notifications. That way you know when I'm going to be uploading or live streaming. There's my good old pal Samuel Kennard. And if you do want to support my channel, donations are always great. I do have links down below too as well for my PayPal and Patreon. And I do offer channel memberships if you want to do it that way. So with that, I am going to end this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want, tell your friends, tell your family all about my channel. I do little videos down here in my beautiful small city of Halifax. sometimes, you know, my friend Sam here, he shows up. No, not really, he's just a statue. Anyway, I will catch you next time. Have a lovely day. Bye.